What's going on, everybody? America Football Network here with another video today. And today we're bringing you guys our Week 6 spread picks. We're finally able to get some spread picks out. But before we get started, make sure you guys like and subscribe. Comment those thoughts and opinions down below. Check out the podcast, the website, and our College Football Roundup channel. We appreciate all the support we get from you guys. But let's go ahead and start with today's video. So, our first spread pick, we have, let me see here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 picks for you guys. We got 7 picks, and the first one we're starting with the Red River rivalry, Oklahoma versus Texas. The spread on this one is Texas minus 6.5 in this game, and I'm going to take minus 6.5 with minus 115 odds on that one. I just like the way that this Texas team is playing. I think that they're a little bit of a better football team than Oklahoma. I think that both of these teams have improved, particularly Oklahoma from last year, but I don't know if Oklahoma is 49 points more improved. They lost this game last year 49-0. Now, I expect it to be more competitive. I expect Oklahoma to score. But at the end of the day, I think it comes down to Quinn Ewers is the best player on the field and the best quarterback in the game, and that's going to be the difference if this ends up being a closer game. I just don't have as much faith in I just don't have as much faith in Dylan Gabriel as I do Ewers. So give me Texas minus 6.5. Next up, we got LSU versus Missouri. These are two teams that can't stop anybody. The defenses are bad. So give me the over 64.5 on this game. I love the offenses for both teams in this one. I think it's going to be a shootout. Not quite the level we saw LSU Ole Miss last week, but I think it's going to be somewhere kind of in that same range. I think that they definitely hit at least 65 combined point. I mean, if you think about it, if each team, if it's a 38-35 game, which is very possible, that hits the over. I think this is one that they're gonna go over. I just don't see the defenses being able to get very many stops, particularly LSU's defense. Next game on a slate, we got Washington State versus UCLA. This is kind of a weirder game. Washington State is the better team. They're the ranked team, I believe 13th in the country, and they're not favored going into this one. They're 3.5-point underdogs heading into UCLA. But give me the Washington State money line, plus 140. Give me that. I think that Washington State comes out and beats UCLA. UCLA has had a lot of struggles offensively, only put up 7 points a few weeks ago against Utah. I just don't think Dante Moore is quite ready. You got to remember this guy right here, Cam Ward, is the best player on the field, is the best quarterback. So kind of the same reason that I'm going with Oklahoma and Texas, kind of playing here. I trust Cam Ward to get the job done, and for Washington State and that defense and offense to come out with a win at UCLA. Next game, Syracuse versus North Carolina. By the way, in this game, something to watch just in general is Tez Walker is eligible to play now as the NCAA flips their decision on him. He'll be back for North Carolina. This will be his first game. He's practiced all season with them. Now he can play. So a big get back for North Carolina. And the spread in this one is North Carolina minus 9.5. And I'm going to take North Carolina minus the 9.5 points. I think that they cover. Syracuse last week lost 31-14 to Clemson at their own building. I think now you go on the road to North Carolina, a team with an offense that's clicking a little bit more than Clemson's has been, with a defense that isn't as good as Clemson's, but still a solid defense and you got Syracuse off to their first loss. One, how did they bounce back? Two, that's a tough loss. Just what does that do to your team mentally? I think North Carolina puts up a lot of points in this one. I don't know if Syracuse can hang with them. Give me North Carolina to cover the 9.5. Next up, we got Wake Forest versus Clemson. I think the Clemson offense is going to roll in this game. Give me the over 51.5. I think Clemson scores about 40 points themselves. I think Wake Forest can get 2 touchdowns. I believe my score prediction for the game was 45-13 for Clemson Wake Forest. At Clemson winning 45-13. Make sure you guys check that video out. I'll leave a card for it right here. But, I just think that the Clemson offense is continuing to look better. Klubnik is progressing more and more and more from those first, few weeks. In the last week, it's been tremendous jumps from the FAU game to the Florida State game, and from the Florida State game to the Syracuse game. It's just been like huge step ups for this guy. So I'm excited to see what he does against Wake Forest and how big of a step he takes forward again. And I think that the offense is clicking. I think that they're going to establish a run game, take some deep shots, and I think that they put up a lot of points on a bad Wake Forest defense. I think that this game will hit the over 51.5. Next up, a game that is not getting anywhere near 51.5 points, Purdue versus Iowa. Iowa is favored in this game. I believe it's 2.5. But give me the Purdue money line. I think Purdue wins this football game, plus 115. I think that they can win this game. I just think that with McNamara out for Iowa, I think Purdue has the opportunity to find themselves in a situation where all they have to do is score 14 points, 17 points, something like that, and then win the football game. I just don't trust Iowa's offense. Now, this is a home game for Iowa, and that's the only dilemma to this game, is it is a home game for Iowa, and it is so tough to win there. They always play better there. Also, what kind of turnovers can that defense force? Because if they're getting turnovers against Purdue, then that sets them up with defensive scores or very, very short fields in a defeated Purdue team. Then Iowa could get the win, but I think Purdue's going to win. So give me the money line for Purdue. Then our final pick, Kentucky versus Georgia. I don't know how Georgia's favored by 14.5 in this game, but give me Kentucky to cover plus the points. I think they might win the game outright. I'm not picking the game for them to win outright, but I think that they definitely could. So give me Kentucky. I just don't like the way this Georgia team's playing. They allowed an Auburn team who can't complete a forward pass to run for 200-something yards on them and make that a competitive game. It was a 7-point game when it was all said and done. I love the way Kentucky's been playing. So give me the Wildcats. I think that they're gonna upset or potentially upset Georgia here, and I think they definitely cover 14.5 points. I think at the very, very worst, they lose by 14. I'm leaning more towards 10. So if I bet $20 on each of these picks, my potential payout would be $280.32. Potential winnings, $140.32. Now we're gonna kind of keep up with that, the money stuff, but just kind of play money. We're not actually betting. One, I'm not 18. Two, I live in South Carolina, so it's not legal anyways. And keep up with my record on my picks, just so you guys can follow around for entertainment purposes only. But I appreciate all of you guys watching. That wraps up today's video. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Hit that subscribe button. Help us hit 1,100 subscribers by the end of October. We appreciate all the support from you guys, and we'll see you guys next week.